When I was 16 years old, I came down with a fever. So exhausted I could barely lift my head. "This isn't a cold," my mother said, half carrying me to the car. I marched for the radiologist who analyzed my x-rays, and the physician that diagnosed me with pneumonia, and the pharmacist that filled my prescription for an antibiotic that might not exist if Alexander Fleming had not discovered penicillin, because I had an infection that just decades earlier could have killed me, but science helped me reclaim my lungs. When I was 18 years old, I lost my great-grandmother. From the photos I have, I know her favorite color was red. A slideshow played at her funeral. I marched for the physicists who studied lenses and light, and the chemists who studied the properties of thousands of compounds, so the fathers of photography could learn to capture images of real life, leading to the invention of the modern-day camera, because I have pictures of me and my great-grandmother, treasured photographs made possible by a legacy of scientific discovery. I march for the computer programmers who invented short message service, because when my dad decided to take his own life, I instantly received his last text message. And I marched for Alexander Graham Bell, the man who invented the telephone, because when I read, "I love you, sweetie, goodbye," I could call 911. And I marched for the geographers who create maps and the software developers working at Google, because when the 911 operator asked me what my dad's address was, in my hysterical panic, I could not remember where he lived. She used Google Maps to find him. And I marched for Heinrich Hertz, who discovered radio waves, because without radio communication, the police would not have arrived at my dad's home in time. And I marched for the emergency medical team that rescued him, and the nurses who cared for him, and the doctors who did not give up. I marched for the science that saved my father's life. I marched for curiosity-driven science. I marched for the botanists who discovered a compound in the Pacific yew tree that led to a new chemotherapy medication. The ecologists who discovered that a hormone found in platypus venom could help cure type 2 diabetes, and I marched for the researchers who believe that by studying the regenerative capacity of the axolotl, we might someday unlock the key to cellular regeneration. Who knows how many fathers' lives, mothers' lives, sisters' lives, brothers' lives might be saved by discoveries we have yet to make while exploring nature's rich biodiversity. I march for the astronomers and the astronauts, the men and women who study the stars and moon, unraveling the mystery of how Earth came to be and the potential for life on planets other than our own, whose work shows us just how little we mean to the universe and just how much the universe should mean to us. I march for Aldo Leopold, the father of wildlife ecology, who crafted the idea of an environmental ethic and encouraged us to value all things natural, wild, and free. I march for John Muir, an adventurous explorer, a writer, a naturalist, who worked to preserve the American wilderness. And I march for Rachel Carson, a marine biologist whose rallying cry to the environmental movement was heard around the world. I march because I have parks to play in, countrysides to explore, trails to hike, mountains to climb, rivers to kayak, lakes to jump into, because my tap water runs clean and the air I breathe isn't poison, because science shows us the error of our ways and how to fix our mistakes, because rivers no longer burn when someone lights a match, and when I step outside in springtime, I can hear the songbirds sing.